Hey yo, it's the Mayo Show with Brett Mayerson. All right, everyone, welcome to episode 7 of the Mayo Show. I'm your host, Brett Mayerson. Yes, the guest today is loving that. This is episode 7, almost at the double-digit mark. And I've talked to some very interesting people over the last month or so and over the last few weeks. But today, we're going to hear from someone in an industry that you might not think of unless it's something that you really follow. Today, I have Chris Washburn, a fellow alumni of my alma mater, Ithaca College.
Go
Living in
Bombers! Go
Exactly.
Bombers!
Living in Ithaca, New York / Dryden, New York, whatever you call that borderline where he's at. And he started his own company, Washburn Entertainment, and he can DJ your wedding, your bar bat mitzvah, your sorority or fraternity event. And if you see him in downtown Ithaca, he's usually DJing a bar, and he's been to some really good events according to your email signature that I've seen. So, Chris, what's going on?
We can DJ your podcast too, just like the Mail Show. It's perfect.
Love that.
Yeah, we are here. Definitely big shout out to the IC alum and Brett. Thanks for having me. This is looking forward to chatting and talking and seeing where this goes.
Of course. So you were a student at Ithaca. You played on the baseball team. So first of all, what'd you major in?
Sure. Yep, I attended Ithaca College from 2004 to 2008. My original, I grew up in Plattsburgh, New York, so Ithaca is about 5 hours away. So close enough, far enough where it was far enough from home, but still close enough to easy to get there. My original intent was to go play baseball there and major in athletic training. You know, pretty standard jock kid coming out of high school, whatever, right?
Exactly.
Only played baseball for 2 years. I ended up switching my major, so I finished with a sport media degree. Sport media degree was my official title. Played a lot of poker in college too, if that counts. That's not listed on my diploma though. However, after getting my sport media degree, which was probably similar to stuff that you did, you know, the ideal job would go work for a sports team, go work in media, that type of thing in sports. You know, I did a sweet internship with the New York Mets my junior year, and I'm a big Mets fan, so you know, I kind of thought like that's where I was going to go, like most people with sport media. Instead, I ended up moving out to Vegas for a little bit, just played poker professionally, moved back to Ithaca, and that's kind of where I started with this whole DJ career, which started by working at a bar called Mooney's. And if you're in Ithaca along within the past 15 years or so, you certainly know Mooney's, aka the Moonshadow Tavern, aka I don't know, whatever other nickname you've given it.
Moontown. That's something I'm calling
Moontown. All right, Moontown. So started working there, and that's where we had DJs, and kind of how I got into this. And my whole life, my mom was a music teacher, so I was always into music. I always did band, chorus. I always loved the entertaining side. So like I'd make the mixtapes for our sports teams, like our warm-up mixes for basketball, and at parties I'd be the one over there doing the music. So I just had like an act for that social limelight entertainment music, and which is exactly what DJing is. And then at Mooney's, that's where I first finally, because we were hiring DJs, we had it for our business. Kind of how I got into it one day is just like, hey, what does this do? And like the DJs we had, let me use their gear and kind of play around with it. And one thing kind of led to another. And then from there it was, okay, well, Chris knows what he's doing a little bit. He can fill in from time to time. And then it's, I had one night a week. And then after a few years of managing Mooney's and running that place, I knew that wasn't going to last. Working in a college bar has a shelf life. So I was thinking, all right, well, what's the next thing? And a friend of mine at the time, they were getting married, and I don't think they had a big budget. So they said, hey, you DJ, you want to come DJ our wedding? I'd never done one before. Went out and did it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this. I enjoy this. I feel like there could be a career here. And that's kind of where I got the idea, inspiration to create Washburn Entertainment, which is my mobile DJ group. And that was about 2013, so about 9 years ago. And that started with, and then, you know, for the next couple of years, I was getting my real estate license. I was DJing side events. I was still managing Mooney's. And then about 2015 is when I kind of stopped managing Mooney's and focused both on real estate and DJing. And here we are now. And the DJ career has definitely exploded a lot more. So I do that more. I still have my real estate license, but I just do a little bit on the side. But yeah, mostly full-time, well, definitely a full-time DJ now with a team Washburn Entertainment here in Central New York. We pretty much do events within 2 hour radius of this, I'd say. But that doesn't stop. Well, that's where we market to. But I still go around the country, go to different events, and do some things. And like you said, yes, we do all the mobile events. So your weddings, predominantly corporate events, school dances, mitzvahs, podcasts. That's what like the company does, right? But I also do a lot of personal club things and things that I find fun. Comic Con DJing, going around the country, different Vegas clubs, Vegas bar, casinos, things like that. So, yeah, definitely have very grateful for the opportunities I have now. So that's my what 3 4 minute rundown of how I got into this.
Of course. So you're also, I have to tell you, your social media, if it's just you posting, I don't know if it's just you or if you have someone managing that for you, but you are incredibly active, not just promoting yourself or showing your day-to-day life, but promoting your company. You are very, very active, and it's really awesome to see, because there's a lot of people who are in your position who are trying to make it and don't realize that that's kind of the marketing for DJs
Yes.
nowadays and music as a whole. And and you have a ton of followers, a lot of them obviously in the local community. And everywhere I went, when I was a senior, I remember I was interning at a news station in Elmira, and we went to an event in Watkins Glen to film a story. And there was one of your DJs wearing a Washburn shirt, just DJing the event. I was like, wow, he's you can't escape Washburn Entertainment.
Sweet, we like that. Well, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, you want me to touch base on the social media aspect a little bit, since you just brought that up? Yeah. So my personal one, the at DJ Washburn _ that's all me pretty much. I do have one of my other DJs, DJ Tori V. She helps actually, and a couple other people that help with the company Instagram, Washburn Entertainment. So if you see like a really good caption or something that's very captivating or clever, it's probably her, because she's really good at that. Yeah, but I certainly have learned a lot and try to be as genuine, clever on social media. So if it's my personal Instagram, it's mostly me. Occasionally I'll be like, hey, I'll ask my team, like, hey, what's a good caption for this picture or something like that. But no, you're absolutely right that in this industry, in this line of business, and actually in most these days, just where we are in the world with the digital age, social media, how much time people spend on their phones, browsing, right? That business wise, if you are not taking advantage and capitalizing, you're certainly missing out. And especially in the DJ world, because I'm not marketing health insurance to 50-year-old people or social security. No, most of the events we do are people that late teenagers, 20s, 30s, weddings, the average age of people getting married, late 20s, early 30s, millennials. I'm in my mid 30s. And all these people, our main clientele or school dance, they're all over social media all the time. I think I saw a stat like TikTok just surpassed YouTube in terms of minutes watched or last year or something like that. So the point of that is that it's where people are in this day and age. And I'm the same way as a consumer. If I see something, I'll go look them up on Instagram, a product, a person, whatever. So in our industry, of course, business wise, you have to stay on top of that to maximize. And it's some way where people are looking. We get a lot of leads because people are, for example, if you're a wedding couple, you're a groom or a bride, and you search your venue, and then you might look at a hashtag or see the DJs that have been at that venue, and we got to make sure that we pop up there. And of course, just the whole sense, this social identity, whether you're a DJ, whether you're a photographer, whether you're a person that just dances around to music and has a million followers, right? It's about developing that brand, that image and reputation, being consistent. So you said, like, I am consistent with it. Yeah, I think, I don't want this to be a digital marketing social media tutorial, but you have to be consistent. You got to be genuine, be real, be clever, because it'll certainly help pay off in terms of business. So yeah, that's what we do.
Awesome. So, and also I have to tell you, you're in Vegas a lot. I've seen you post about, going to DJ expos and conferences.
Yeah.
Of course, while you're there, you're playing poker. There's pictures of you doing that on a live stream. So I'm guessing you still have the little bit of the professional poker player in you there. Like, you're not as big as like a guy. I mean, I guess you're not as big as the guys who are like on the World Series of Poker on ESPN, but you're a professional poker player.
I would say it's more, I wouldn't say I'm a professional poker player because it's not my main source of income, but yes, I do love enjoying the game. I do love playing still. I was born. I grew up in the if you're familiar with poker, the Chris Moneymaker era back in 2003. He won the World Series, blew up all over ESPN, created the huge poker boom online. Everyone started playing because of ESPN, made it such a mainstream popular thing. So I grew up. I was in high school during that, so it's like perfect. My friends and I, oh, that's what we used to play all the time. But yeah, no, I love the. I've always been a competitive person, always playing sports, things like that, and I like the idea of thinking out, thinking people. So poker is perfect for that, and there's a monetary reward for it. It's not just like you just win and you get nothing. It could be a very substantial financial reward too. So the overall idea of the competitiveness, the rewards, the thinking, the social atmosphere, it just fits my personality and things that I enjoy a lot. So yeah, as you said, another great thing about this DJ career that I have is it's opened up a lot of doors to things like the national DJ conferences. So over the past few years, I've been lucky enough to become a master of my craft, or have someone that other people look up to, so that I'm able to go speak and present at these conferences, help other DJs around the country. And I say this too in the most humble, gracious way, because I am very humble and gracious for it. And so many people have helped me along the way that I love being able to give back and presenting and sharing. I get DJs in Texas that call me and say, "Hey, I saw your seminar and we did this, this, and this, and we just raised our prices to this and whatever. Now I can take my family on an extra vacation." Like that stuff is awesome, and I love being able to help people in that way. So yeah, the conferences, reaching out, networking with people around the country in our market, the poker stuff. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I've been going to play in Los Angeles as well on one of the live poker streams. And yeah, you said like it's not like people in the World Series of Poker. Well, it is pretty similar actually, because it might be even more so. Those like the World Series of Poker, those tournaments, depending on which one you look at. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people that play. The cash games that I go play in are playing with some of the best people in the world too. Like a few weeks ago, I almost got on a stream with Phil Hellmuth. I missed it because I miscommunication with the producers, but he's one of the biggest names in poker. So yeah, that's something that's just exciting and fun for me too. And I like playing on camera. I like entertaining. So yeah, it's good.
Of course, yeah. I mean, you're an entertainer.
Hmm.
So I actually think that sometimes, and I think people in our generation, yours and mine, will always say that one of the most important things about an event nowadays is the music and the entertainment. Because I think that really makes the event. Because like I could go to a wedding tomorrow and I could say, wow, that music was awful. That
Yep.
band was terrible, or that DJ was just playing like CDs of like an artist that not everyone here is
CD.
encased of.
What's a CD? You gotta tell your
Exactly.
listeners, explain what that is.
Exactly. I mean, hey, they still make CDs. It's just that, you could find them online now and download them. I mean,
Yeah,
they still make them, just no one buys them.
sure.
No, everyone
Crazy.
still buys vinyl. But so I think that you would probably agree with that, because I mean, obviously it's all about the mixing too with DJing, but how important is that when you go to an event, whether it's a wedding, a mitzvah, a school dance, because you have to make sure it's lively and that no one is gonna, say, wow, your music is terrible.
Sure. No, you're you're absolutely right. And this is stuff that I talk to clients and potential clients all the time. And to on the bigger scale, so like you say, music and stuff, I'm gonna step back even one bigger and say like the entertainment of an event, right? Whether it's the band, whether it's an MC, whether it's the music. So for example, like a wedding. Yes, the entertainment has such a big impact because it affects the guests almost every second of the day. From the second you walk into, say, a reception room for a wedding, and you see the DJ setup, you see the lighting, you get the feel, the ambiance. And at these events, too, a lot of things, especially with weddings, a lot of people just assume DJ music, right? Which is true. I mean, that's the biggest thing, main thing we do.
I
But
mean,
there's
disc
so much
jockey.
stuff. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a very outdated term, and I never use that. That's like, yeah, this jock is like, what the hell is that?
I
No.
want to see your reaction to the term, but keep
Yeah, yeah,
going.
right, right. Although we still use DJ because I mean, this is what it is. Like Moontown, right? From Moonshot Tavern
Exactly.
to Moontown. But yeah, there's so much more, especially at a wedding, that a DJ does. We don't even play music for the dance floor wise till halfway through. So there's so much more in terms of the event hosting, the overall being able to be the quarterback, being able to be entertaining, engaging, the MC part, where especially in the wedding field, most DJs are not trained in this area. And I have a whole wedding YouTube video that explains the wedding DJ industry, how there's no regulation, there's no license, no test you have to pass. So like you, Brett, could roll out of bed tomorrow, grab your credit card, buy the gear, make a website and say, hey, I'm a wedding DJ and have no experience. And that's true. And that's exactly what a lot of people do. And a lot of the ones that have experience is because they were, yeah, I DJed at a frat party or I did karaoke down at the local sports bar. I can do weddings because they pay more, right? Well, that's why you get a lot of subpar crap out there because they are not trained in the ways that my team and I do, and what we do in like the higher end DJs. And you were talking about how the music is so important. Yes, especially at weddings, though, just being a good host on the microphone to understand how to talk to people. I always equate it to it's like a talk show host or an award show. Imagine the Oscars, the Emmys, or something without a good host. It's just not. It's not going to flow the same. It's not going to be as smooth. And imagine someone that there's a difference between people that can talk and actually be captivating and have people that are listening actually care what they're saying versus the people that are just talking and you just don't care. That doesn't happen by mistake. Same thing in the DJ world. So when you get into these corporate events and weddings and different things that take more emceeing and more being able to connect with people, there's a certain set of skills now as a DJ you need to have to excel at this versus just being able to beat, match, and mix. Because yes, that part when it comes to the dancing, the music, like if you go to a school prom, there's not as much announcing there. If I go to a club, right, they're not here to hear me talk about how great these clients are. No, they're want to dance. They want to hear the mixing. So different set of skills there. But I think overall, if you're going to be a really good mobile DJ, you're going to do high end events like weddings because those pay more than bars. That you need to have a well-rounded skill set and be able to crush on all areas for sure. And of course, then in the mixing and that atmosphere, then be able to have the technical skills down. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I always think of too, because I remember going to events. I'm like, wow, this music is terrible, and like I've seen it, and it's just no one really realizes how important that is. So one other question I wanted to ask you is, you've been to Vegas, you've gone to some stuff in Atlantic City, you've done a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
This is kind of a two-parter. One, what's the coolest event you ever got to DJ? And two, there's a lot of very famous and well-known DJs out there who have done some very great work and who have won Grammys. Who is the coolest one that you've gotten to either work with or meet?
Good question.
Or just listen to give you wisdom.
Let's start with the second one. So when you talk about like the big DJs out there, first I think you had to break them up into, because like the well-known ones, if you ask like a person that's not in the DJ world, like name a famous DJ, who are they going to say? Like Calvin Harris, Steve Aoki, Tiesto, DJ Khaled, right? Like, and a lot of those people, yeah, they still are DJs technically, but it's like they really are more producers. And that's where because Calvin Harris has so many songs, but he's still like a DJ, or they do remixes and they do a lot of producing. And they are great. Don't get me wrong. I've seen many of them at clubs in Vegas and stuff, and obviously they're a huge draw, so they know what they're doing. I tend though there's a lot of DJs that aren't as well known. People like a Joe Maz, DJ Scooter, Digital Dave, that your average person is not going to know, but like if you're in the DJ world, you will know them. And because they're not headliners like a Calvin Harris that gets $300,000 a show to just kind of stand up there and play his songs that he's made, but like technical skills, because they're busting their butts. They're doing similar to what I do, and they just do some stuff for the industry with their edits and things like that. A lot of these guys I've got to meet at conferences. We stay in touch, social media, etc. Where they're not headliners. Vegas is going to fly them out, pay them $200K a night to go spin at a club. No, but they live a good life. And I guess the point of what I'm saying is that there's a lot of these DJs that I personally would rather go see because they're the ones. For example, if you go to like a Vegas nightclub, say Lil Jon is headlining, or Calvin Harris or something like that, Chainsmokers. I like getting there early because I like seeing the opening DJs, the ones that are making $500 a night, that know that they better play tonight. This could be their last set ever because it's a corporate company that's booking them, and if they screw up, they might be done. So they're playing like this is their last show ever, right? I like that because they're giving everything they got, and they're the ones that aren't guaranteed to make it just because they're famous. So in terms of like the technical stuff, things they're doing, their creativity, a lot of times I find that more enjoyable because like, oh, that's nice, versus just the people that can show up and just draw a crowd, right? Obviously, that's like the Mecca. You'd love to be there, but
Exactly.
very, very small amount of people do that. So yeah, a lot of those people, like I said, that I've got to work with are the people that aren't going to be as famous. Some of the people I just named and have seen. And then the other question, what was the first part again?
The first part was what's the coolest event you've gotten to DJ?
Coolest event. All right, let's see. There's been so many cool ones for so many different reasons. Uh, DJing at MetLife Stadium for the 2019 court. Did you go to that,
I
Cortica?
did. Of course I did. Why wouldn't
Okay,
I go?
perfect. So for those of you that don't know, Cortica, it's the yearly tradition. Ithaca College versus SUNY Cortland. Their big football games called the biggest little game in the nation, kind of like a Duke, UNC, Ohio State, Michigan, but at like the D3 level. So it's just
Yeah.
a big celebration for both schools. In 2019, they held it at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Jets and Giants play, and that was pretty big. In terms of like a resume, not many people can say they've spun there. This year, not officially announced, but working on DJing at Yankee Stadium for this year's Cortica, where that one is. So that would be pretty big. I've DJed at a few different casinos and stuff on the Vegas Strip. That's pretty big to be able to say that. Planet Hollywood, O'Shea's, the Carnival Court. Where else have I been? New York, New York. So yeah, anytime you can say, "Hey, I DJed on the Vegas Strip," that's pretty neat. And then there's a whole slew of a bunch of private events that I've done with people, and even if for different reasons that may not stand out to the general public, is like, oh, that's cool, but sometimes you just get energy, you get certain vibes, certain energy from events that stand out. And there's been so many, I can't really pinpoint on some now. I really did enjoy. I did my first Comic-Con a few weeks ago in Philadelphia at the convention center, and I absolutely love that. And I'm definitely looking forward to doing more Comic-Cons. Because as you can see in my background, I'm a big nerd, superhero, comic book fan at heart, and being able to be surrounded by tens of thousands of people that share the same, all dressed up in their cosplay, and they're just like nerding out, and then being able to DJ and incorporate some of my different like superhero themes and TV theme songs and things that I enjoy that you can't always drop at a normal dance floor. I love that. And so being around that's really neat. Being able to do those different types of, a Comic-Con, love that. Anything else? And then, I also enjoy, most of the stuff I do DJ are those events that are like dance parties, but I love live sports too. I've worked a lot with Ithaca College athletics and some other schools over the past few years, DJing gymnastics meets, basketball games. I enjoy the excitement and the thrill of that and being able to enhance those. So, yeah, there's definitely been some pretty sweet opportunities, and yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to warn you right now. It says I have 7 minutes left on this call. So if we have to hang up and go to another call and then me editing it together, I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. So
Sounds good.
Just
Sounds
doing this
good.
now, depending on what we get here.
Oh, you know what? Let me add one more thing to that last question, because I just thought about it. So like COVID obviously sucks for so many reasons.
That was my next question for you, obviously.
Oh, COVID. Well, good. This will segue into that.
How did that affect you? Because I mean, obviously you weren't working for a while.
Correct. And because of COVID, it was actually going to lead into some opportunities that I had that I was going to talk about, some fun things that I did. So yeah, obviously COVID was a big kick in the balls to a lot of people, shut down our events. It just had to do some adjustments on certain things, of course, because people weren't having in-person events. A lot of them got pushed back, got rescheduled, or just canceled in general. So we had a good, like most people, a lockdown where a lot of people in the DJ world then went to streaming, then went to Twitch, being able to do digital content stuff from their home. I got into, like a lot of people were streaming on Twitch, YouTube, both for myself, and then also with a couple other companies. There was one called Music Video DJs where they streamed 24/7. This was really cool. A guy in LA, actually, Evan Wiseman, DJ Mr. E, put this together where other DJs, they had an hour slot and you signed up and it just went 24/7. So they were from all around the world. It was really cool, actually. So you could go to the channel. I had a certain time slot. I think it was like midnight on Sundays or something, fit my schedule. So like you tune in and they all would come in and just DJ after DJ, and they would be in their basement, their studio, whatever, mixing music videos, mixing live. That was cool. And one of the, actually, this leads into what it led me to, was that, so I was posting these, and I also do like live trivia for people. I said, hey, anyone on Facebook, come join my Zoom and I'll do some live trivia. And I would post my sets from like the different streams. And one of my friends, a guy that I did, Mike Gregoric, that I did his wedding years ago, he works for one of the Wizard World, which is now Fan Expo, is one of those, the DJ the Comic-Con companies. And he saw when I did a theme and I was put on an Iron Man costume or something, and I was all dressed up. I used to try to do theme ones, and he saw that and he's like, oh, we should do something like this for my company. So what this led to was doing some opening streams, DJ sets for Wizard World. They switched their name, like I said, to Fan Expo now, but they had a thing where you could meet. They would do like celebrity seminars and panels, and I got to open up for them. And some of the celebrities that were included were actors from Star Wars, not the big ones, so not like Mark Hamill and no, but I think the guy who played Darth Vader on Rogue One, the guy who played Jar Jar Binks, some people from The Mandalorian. I got to do one for the cast of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Big fan of that show. Supergirl, love that show as well. We did one for Smallville. Then we did some other ones, a DC one, and some like popular video gamers. So this was cool because I got to do some nerd sets for that crowd. Got to meet some of those because before they would go on, he let me pop in the Zoom and just say hi to the actors and whatnot. So that, again, that was a very unique thing, which actually kind of led me to, because they're the ones that put on that Comic-Con in Philly, so led me to DJing live there now. So that was something that came out of COVID that was pretty exciting, pretty good.
So what was it like for you though? Because I know you did the live stream, so you were still able to keep your stuff going. But I mean, you weren't able to book any events and get paid for all that stuff. So I mean, obviously that's gotta hurt you mentally too, right? Because I mean, that's not just you. That's your other DJs. That's your entire company, and you
Yeah.
guys just can't do anything.
Yeah, like many people, and I know there's people that had it way, way worse than myself, right? And fortunately, my wife's a nurse. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, but she had job security, although her job kind of sucked during COVID, being a nurse. I was always smart with my money, so even if we were not getting a paycheck every week, we weren't going to go hungry. We weren't going to go hungry, so we were okay. And then I just had some other income revenues. Poker became a big thing. Being able to do that because you don't have to be in person for that. But yeah, shutting down all the events. Yeah, there was just so much uncertainty that you couldn't really. People weren't booking things because they just didn't know. And we kept having things being pushed back. And yeah, I felt bad for a lot of my staff that were losing their opportunities for that. I think I was very fortunate in the fact that I got pretty lucky, I guess, in the crypto markets. I've always was in the cryptocurrency since about late 2015, 2016. And during COVID, I don't know if you know anything about crypto or if you guys are listening, but I was able to get in and get pretty lucky, made some fortunate investments that were able to, help in the financial aspect. So, yeah,
So you were
definitely.
still able to make an income there. And now COVID's gone. Now COVID's not really gone, but the pandemic lockdowns are over. So before the clock runs out here and I have to start a new call, I want to see if I can get this answer from you.
Mhm.
What was it like getting out there again and seeing everyone's faces again? And then you get to spread your staff out to other events again. And you're like, finally,
Yeah.
we're back. We can do this.
Yeah. Orgasmic. Exciting. Very, very exciting. Like the first event, it's just so thrilling because yes, you get to see people, you get to feel the energy. When you're DJing on stream or you're DJing your basement or whatever, you might have your headphones in. It's just you, it's just a low speaker. But once you get back out there, you see 100 people, 200 people, you feel the energy, you feel the bass, you can feel it. The lights hit you in the face, right? And that's part of the euphoria and part of one of the main things why I love DJing so much is for that rush, that excitement. I feed off the energy of other people, and DJing, it's one of the biggest things in terms of we feed off each other.
You came back from COVID. You said it was obviously that feeling is amazing, and obviously
Orgasmic is what I said. It was
orgasmic is a great
orgasmic.
feeling.
Yep.
So, so now you're back full time. Would you say that ever since things have opened up, that you've gotten more bookings than you've gotten in the past, or has it been the same? Because I feel like now everyone is willing to do something crazy now that
Sure. Yeah.
the lockdowns are over.
Yeah. Good question. I would say an increase for sure. The main reason is because a lot of the biggest income for our company is through weddings, and that's mainly our wedding season is a big chunk of the year. Because of COVID and so many couples that had to cancel or reschedule, it's made 2021, 2022, 2023 super congested for weddings. And I think I just saw a stat like an increase from last year. It's like 21% more weddings in the country. And this year on the books, there's more weddings scheduled since like 1980 something, which I don't know what happened in the 80s, but apparently there were a lot of weddings then. So Yes, there's just over across the board. So the law of averages in math is going to say if there's more weddings, then yeah, there's going to be more bookings for us. Fortunately, we are one of the most popular DJ companies in this area, so we do our inquiries have shot through the roof. You know, there for this year, I keep a spreadsheet of how many inquiries, wedding inquiries we get for each day, and there's a couple Saturdays we have over 30, excuse me, over 30 inquiries for. So that's a lot. Yeah. I apologize for these allergies too. Of course, some days I wake up and it's
It's
just
the
like this
season,
calm.
man. It's the
It sucks.
season.
It sucks. It's like COVID. Well, this isn't COVID, but it sucks like COVID sucked. So put it
Exactly.
that way. So yeah, definitely increase in events. And there are a lot of events that are now able to do for the first time in a couple of years. And I know like even through COVID last year, if you're doing like a wedding or a private event, there was no regulations. Like you kind of do it yourself if you felt like it. Like if you're gonna have a party in your backyard, whatever, no one's telling you can't. But like with schools and institutions and organizations that have liabilities, they had to be extra cautious. So a lot of holiday parties, a lot of proms, things like that that weren't able to be done. Now it can do it. And another great example, actually today in just a few hours, I'm going to do a redemption prom at TC3, which is a community college here, for the students that are never got to have their high school prom because of COVID. So two great examples last night, today, of ones that couldn't do it.
So obviously you've gotten to do these student events, which is great. So obviously business has really picked up, I'm assuming, because you've been able to obviously be more active on social media, especially with that, because everyone kind of went quiet during COVID because no one knew
Yep.
what was going to come next. And
Yep.
I should also say that, have you had to work within the constraints of, when it comes to Ithaca or Cortland or Dryden, like city rules about COVID or facility rules about COVID? Like what's been the amount of times that you've had to say, like, you have to show proof of vaccination or at least a negative test while
Mhm.
going to these events? Like, have they been constrained like that, or is everything totally free now for you?
Sure. This year's been pretty free. I think this year there's been an event or two maybe where they asked me to wear a mask. It usually happens in school settings, because usually they're the ones that are more strict. I know even in December, like Ithaca College, they had their mask mandate still, even though the rest of the state was not. So like I did their the senior semi-formal in December, and they made us put a mask on. It was at Campus Center. Um, Last year, yeah, there were a lot of like the weddings that we did during towards some actually still happened during COVID or towards the end of COVID. They still had the mask regulation, so yeah, we had to be vaccinated or sign off that we were show vaccination and or wear masks the entire time. So yeah, that was a common thing, and we just yeah we did it. We did it, and it is what it is. So yeah, we're
Exactly.
team players.
You're working. You got to do it.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
exactly. It's, if you don't do it, you don't get paid. That's the whole thing. Got to comply
Yep.
or get paid.
Hmm.
So the one question I want to close the interview with was this one. What is your dream event? Like, is there any event that you see yourself, or any place, like whether it's a club, an arena, a school event, or just like
Yeah.
something big that happens every year that you hope to see yourself spinning
Sure.
the tables at one day?
Sure. I'm sure there's I don't know if there's one that stands out, but yes, almost everything you just said that I would love to do. I started DJing in Mooney's, which is a bar dance club college area. I love that energy, the excitement. I mean, I love doing the mix of different things. So like doing a Comic Con, doing a wedding. I do still enjoy the clubs, like a packed dance floor where you can play dirty music, you can play ratchet shit. The energy's off the hooks, right off the charts, and it's just like straight high energy because that's like what a big club is. So doing bigger ones like that, would love to do some of the headline, some of the big ones in the world that you'd find in Vegas or New York City. That would always be an opportunity that I'd love to do. I love the sports world DJing wise, so doing maybe some big arenas for professional sports teams or big events like that. And I'm sure there's a whole slew of different pop culture entertainment type of events that I would do, like DJing and opening up for the Ellen show. I don't know why I said her. That's because I thought about that because I know she used to have like Twitch, or she used to have other DJs that would do that. But just anything like that involves the limelight, that involves pop culture, large audiences. Uh, so yeah, just continuing to do that. Um, yeah, I would say working with celebrities, maybe doing like celebrity weddings. So Yeah, that'd be cool.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you again so much for coming on today. I know we had some constraints with the timing and everything,
Yeah.
but I want to thank you again so much for coming on and sharing your story and telling us what you're doing and how you're doing. Especially it's great. It's great to see you again.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen you since I was in Mooney's myself, my
Yeah.
senior
A
year,
few
right
years ago.
a few years ago,
There you go.
before everything went crashing and burning. So
And in terms of the Zoom stuff, so all the watchers, the listeners, Brett, I don't know if you have a Patreon or anything, but maybe you should donate to Brett so he can upgrade his Zoom and get a better version. That way it doesn't have a
please
time cutoff.
do.
There you go.
Please do.
I mean, yeah, then he can upgrade his studio. I think he's in his bedroom right now. Like,
It's actually my brother's room, actually.
his brother's room. Let's get this guy a studio or something.
I
So
know my
be
brother's in
generous.
school. Yeah,
The
he's
Mayo
in school at
Show.
Cornell. So he's in school at Cornell. So he's been away. So I've been using this as an office space.
There you go. Perfect. So
Exactly. I
yeah,
will definitely do that.
be
Donate.
generous with those tips. Yeah.
Exactly. Tip me. I have the mic. I just need everything else.
There you
Well,
go.
thank you again, Chris. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll be able to see you again soon. If you're DJing Cornell graduation, I don't know if you are because I am going to be in Ithaca for that. But
Nice.
I will hopefully see you again soon when I visit eventually
Sure.
for an alumni weekend. And at Yankee Stadium, obviously, for
Cornica.
this year. Also, if you want to follow Chris and his company on Instagram, he is at DJ Washburn _, right? Is that what?
Yes, unfortunately, there's a stupid underscore in there because some kid in Iowa who had one post took DJ Washburn back in 2014. One post, he didn't even use the account. I've tried multiple times to reach out to all his friends. So if anyone can get me that Instagram tag, I'd pay top dollar for it, and I'm serious. So yes, DJ Washburn _, and then
at Washburn Entertainment, right?
yeah, Washburn Entertainment. That one was easy. So
And then
yeah.
at Washburn Entertainment, so at DJ Washburn _ and at Washburn Entertainment on Instagram. Follow him, his daily life, and also if you want to find out any news about what events they're doing or what they can do for you, follow them there. They are great. I will say firsthand, seeing him at clubs and seeing what he does, you have so much fun up there. It is always great seeing DJ Washburn at a club. All right, everyone, thank you so much. This obviously the Mayo Show with Brett Mayerson drops every Friday at 4 p.m. on Spotify and Anchor. Really looking forward to have you guys to what you guys think of this one. You can drop what you think to me in emails at contactmayoshow@gmail.com, or you can like, comment, share, and subscribe to talk about what we have on this show. And next week's guest will be announced later on. And have a great day, everybody.
Cool.